Hello there, you amazing viewers and subscribers. Welcome to a brand new Doctor Who related video for today. So in this video, it's going to be something totally cool, something totally different, and it's a review. So in this review, it's going to be about my favourite Tom Baker story. Well, one of my favourite Tom Baker stories, which I have got on the side of me, and I've got it in the Blu-ray box set season 12. It is Doctor Who, The Ark in Space. So I'm going to pop that one like there-ish. And then that one there. Now, I love The Ark in Space. It is a great Tom Baker story. And so, after being set on Earth for Robot, this is the Fourth Doctor's very first outing in the TARDIS, and he ends up on Nova Beacon. Now, this is in a far future because of Harry Sullivan basically messes about with the TARDIS consort, with the Doctor, having a go at him when he comes out the TARDIS, and they end up getting onto this old abandoned space station known as Nova Beacon, and the whole plot is basically interesting because at the end of the at the bit before you see the TARDIS, at the end of the credits, you kind of see this creature through an alien presentive go to a human, touch his hand, which basically after he does that and it goes off and dies in the cupboard, the human actually mutates into a Mirren. The Mirren genes take over the human genes because the human is in cryonic sleep. Now, I love when Tommy goes, "Human bipeds." Yes. I absolutely do love that. And I love the bit goes, "Harry, you didn't touch anything on the panel, did you? Did you touch anything? It was just, well, there are two of us here, and only one of you is named Harry." I loved Tom Baker's attitude and stuff, and then when he literally puts his hat on a stick and points up and the electric thing shoots Tom Baker's hat. It's absolutely funny. I do like that bit where Tom just goes, "Okay, that's not a good idea." The whole bit with the Mirren, when you find out that the human and the Mirren were at war with each other, which means they are there for revenge in a way, and to take over Noah, to take over Noah. And because he's there trying to detect, stop them from finding out. Now, this one is a bit weird because for the actual special effects, people really did give this one such a bad talking about. Because when you hear people talk about this story, you don't really hear them talk about how good it is. You hear them talk about how bad the CGI effect is. I mean, for the bit with the Mirren being affected by with the human being affected by the Mirren, it's actually green bubble wrap. Even when you see the big caterpillar thing, when you see it crawling, it's just like green bubble wrap with someone wrapped into it. Again, yeah, okay, I understand it, but this was the 1970s. Bubble wrap was only just coming out at that point, so yeah, you know the whole point of that. But this whole bit with the Mirren, I absolutely do like the Mirren. They're kind of like giant flies, really. They do remind me of bits of flies, like the big eye things with the insect antennae, from ants and stuff. So they do look like they could have been from a wasp colony or something. They do remind me a bit from flies and wasps in a way. But I do like the Mirren. I like the design. I would actually like to see them return to Doctor Who. They have returned in Big Finish lately, but that's the only thing they've only returned. They haven't actually fully returned into Doctor Who. Excuse me. Now, when I talk about Night with the green bubble wrap, that is what I'm on about there. Look at that special effect there. I absolutely do like it. I like the bit where you have Sarah being transported into cryonic sleep, and when they find her in one of the tomb cabins, and they got to try and wake her up, and she's just fast asleep. So Sarah just come about. I like the bit with the Doctor where he's there saying, "Oh, Sarah, I know you would have let us down." It's like he's trying to trick her, manipulate her into thinking that, "Oh, you could do it." And then she goes, "Oh, Doctor." Is that all you can say? "Oh, Doctor." I do like Tom Baker's voice as the Doctor. This is the episode that I actually remember watching for the first time of a Tom Baker story. I do remember watching this story. This was my very first ever Tom Baker story, and I love Tom Baker. So this is the story that got me into his Doctor, into his run. It's a great, actually, out of space opera. It's a good, in a way. It's literally a fantastic, a base on the Siege story, like you do mainly get through Troughton stories. But this is a good base on the Siege story, and it's incredible and stuff. The Mirren, I like when Noah flies off in the rocket and he takes the Mirren with him and it blows up and the Ark carries on, returning to life, and they're having trouble with the satellite things on the ground. So you have the TARDIS team literally going down to the Earth, which leads into the next story, which is basically the Santoran experiment. Now, I have to say, I do like the Mirren. I like the original effects. This story does have two effects, really. You have the original effects from 1975 that was used in the broadcast, or you have the updated effects that you get on the special edition, as well as the Blu-ray from 2013. So you do get some good special effects and stuff for these two stories. I like the Mirren. I actually do think they're a great design. I mean, my favourite artwork for the story, I do have to say, is basically this one, because I absolutely love it, where you got like the bit of the space with the Mirren coming around in the green with Nerva Beacon there. I have to say I do like that one as well, with Nerva Beacon on the side with the Fourth Doctor with the Mirren. I do like both artworks, to be honest with you, but I do like the original one because that's one is like you get a bit of space with a bit of green background, and that one as well is all like different colour. I do like this story. It's a great Tom Baker story. I will. The question is, do I highly recommend this to anybody that wants to get into the Tom Baker's run? Yes, because this is the story that got me into Tom Baker's run. It's not the story that got me into Doctor Who, because growing up in the late 2000s, well, the late 90s, early 2000s, my dad was collecting the VHSs, the DVDs, and they were being shown on a channel called UK Gold, which my granddad used to record episodes of Doctor Who for me, and I used to watch them on that channel with my dad, because my dad used to have like this little card thing that you put in the Freeview box and that you have some Sky channels. So I do remember my dad having that and putting it into the Freeview, and UK Gold was on there, and Doctor Who was on there on a morning, mainly around about a weekend morning, like a Saturday or a Sunday. Sometimes they do show it in the week. I do remember that. This was the very first one I actually ever watched, to be honest with you, that got me into Tom Baker. The very first story I ever watched was from the season before, which was season 11, which was Death of the Daleks. That was my very first proper introduction story to the Daleks and to Doctor Who as a whole thing. So that was the point I got into it, I believe it was round about, I can't remember if I was about 3 or 4. I do remember watching it from 6. I do remember when I was 6 years old, I remember watching it from 6, but I think it was around about 3 or 4, because I did used to watch these with my dad, and I do have a lot of memories of watching Doctor Who with my dad. I mean, I do remember watching the Green Death with him. I remember being terrified of the big giant maggots from the Green Death. And I'm trying to work out how old I was then, but I think I was around about 3 to 6, in that little time gap in my life. I have watched, the thing is, I've been watching Doctor Who a lot longer than I've been watching Star Trek for, I think. Mind you, my mum telling me I did used to fall asleep to Star Trek Next Generation theme tune when I was only a couple of months old. Then, yeah, I've probably been a fan of both, which is why I want to extend my channel a bit. So, the Ark in Space is a great Tom Baker story. The Mirren are a fantastic villain. Do I think the villain need to return? Yes, I do. I would actually love to see the next Doctor, not specifically Jodie, but a next Doctor, to bump into them again and see if he remembers the events from the Ark, from the Ark in Space. Tom Baker even says in some videos I have seen from what people talk with an interview him, he loves Ark in Space. This was the one story he was actually looking forward to filming from reading the script in the script table. He said that the original story, Robot, felt a bit like a Jon Pertwee story. In a way, it does feel like a Jon Pertwee story, where this one, it just feels like a proper Tom Baker story, and it is great. It is amazing and epic. So, let me know in the comments what you think of Doctor Who, The Ark in Space. Is it one of your favourite stories? Is it one that you least find funny because of the really, really bad CGI effect with the Mirren, with the green bubble wrap? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Please do like, subscribe and share, and have a great day.